Live from our studios, you're watching Fox Illinois News at 5:30.
Coming up on Fox Illinois News at 5:30, the retired officer accused of driving under the influence making his first court appearance today. Plus, following protests in the capital city, what to expect from tonight's committee of the whole meeting. And plans for the Massie Commission officially underway, what you can expect from their work and how it could affect the capital city. Petrie, we begin tonight with an update. Former Springfield Police Sergeant Michael Egan made his first appearance in court today. This comes just one day after being arrested for aggravated driving under the influence, causing great bodily harm. Fox Illinois' Monique Davis joins us now to explain what happened when Egan appeared before the judge. Monique?
Former Springfield Police Sergeant Michael Egan made his first appearance in court today, just one day after being arrested for aggravated driving under the influence, causing great bodily harm. The former sergeant was arraigned on one count of driving under the influence. This is considered a special class 4 felony for causing great bodily harm. Just before 9:30 p.m. on September 5th, Egan was driving northbound on Lakeshore Drive when he struck Chelsea Farley and Trevor Hopkins. Egan refused a breathalyzer at the scene, but blood work later showed he was intoxicated. Egan is not allowed to drive a vehicle, drink alcohol, or go to establishments that sell alcohol. He must cooperate with probation terms that include drug and alcohol evaluations and recommended counseling. Egan is set to appear in court again on October 3rd for a preliminary hearing. If convicted, the former sergeant can face up to 1 to 12 years in prison. Reporting in studio, I'm Monique Davis.
Thank you, Monique. Under probation terms, Michael Egan is not allowed to contact the victims or witnesses involved in the motorcycle crash. Now in your Capital City Watch, City Council meeting is going on right now, and it could be another long one. Many people are expected to speak during public comment, with many speaking about their concern in the terms of the lack of accountability in the Springfield Police Department. This stems from the recent handling of former Springfield PD officer Michael Egan and his subsequent aggravated DUI that still has one person in the hospital. Not up for discussion at the committee of the whole meeting, the controversial public camping ordinance put forth at last week's City Council. In a joint statement, Mayor Misty Buscher and Alderwoman Lakita Purchase said they are requesting the ordinance be withdrawn from consideration at tonight's meeting. The two said they reached the decision after hearing the concerns from community members. Now continuing coverage, developers for the Shields Sports Park announced today the general manager for the park when it opens. They named Brandon Doherty to oversee the complex. City officials say that the new facility will generate millions of dollars in revenue for the community. Construction for the new facility is still going on, but is on schedule to be completed in 2025. And fatal phone call. Plans for the Massie Commission are underway, a commission that was created to help build trust in the community after the death of Sonia Massie, who was shot and killed by a former Sangamon County deputy. Fox Illinois' Carolina Hassett is working for you to break down the plans for the commission now that applications to be on the board have been submitted. Carolina?
That's right. Co-chairs for the commission received more than 200 applications, but only 12 will be selected. Now, Dr. Jerry Cruz, one of the chairs, has reviewed all 204 applications and says candidates include mental health professionals, advocacy groups, and owners of small businesses. Cruz has focused his past work on trauma-informed care, equity, diversity, inclusion, and building up trust when it comes to the medical field.
The mistrust of the medical system is more rampant than you might think. Now, it's time for us to generalize the things that we've done and help in general with trust of all helping professions in the community. So law enforcement.
Now, Cruz says he knows the commission will be addressing issues of systemic racism as well as practices of law enforcement and emergency medical services. The overall goal is to listen to the community to provide rapid solutions to help strengthen trust between the community and helping professions. Now, Cruz added that the chairs have been reviewing the applications individually but hope to come together to choose their candidates after the listening session at Union Baptist Church on Monday. In Sangamon County, I'm Carolina Hassett. Back to you.
Thank you, Carolina. Cruz says that while this is currently a temporary commission, he's hoping it will lead to permanent new committees in the future. Now in your crime alert, one man has been sentenced for a triple homicide in Springfield, with 2 more suspects going to trial. Joseph Hembrow has pleaded guilty to shooting 3 people on South 10th Street in 2021. He has been sentenced to 20 years in prison. Kelton Galmore and Larry McLean are accused of assisting in the crime. They are set to head back to court on September 16th. And a Shelbyville man has pleaded guilty to murdering his pregnant girlfriend. Devin Barger shot and killed his girlfriend, Samantha Cushing, in 2019. Barger then led police on a multi-county pursuit that ended in Taylorville while his 3-year-old was in the car. Following his guilty plea, he was sentenced to 48 years in prison. Now let's turn to our forecast. It looks like we are in for some nice weather this week, and hopefully it sticks around a little bit longer. So let's check in with meteorologist Darren Leeds and see what's going on. Hey, Darren.
Yeah, and Eliza, sunny, warm conditions out there, relatively dry air mass in place across much of the Midwest. Do have this upper level trough coming through Iowa right now, some showers. We're not going to see any of that come through our neck of the woods, maybe getting a couple clouds. Our current temperatures still sitting just above that 80-degree mark. Taking a look at our dew point values, we're seeing dew points in the low 40s at this point in time. You subtract the dew point numbers from our current temperatures, you get dew point depression, and typically 25 degrees is considered very dry. We're seeing dew point depression values closer to 40 degrees, so extremely dry here right now. Temperature is still mild overnight tonight. We're back into the upper 80s for tomorrow. Do have some rain coming our way later in the work week. We'll take a look at that in the full forecast.
Thank you, Darren. Now in your community, the city of Nokomis played host to the largest steam locomotive in the world. The Union Pacific Big Boy made a stop in the city today. Weighing in at over 1 million pounds, the Big Boy is the last of its kind. It was originally retired in 1961. The train was restored in 2019 to mark the 150th anniversary of the Transcontinental Railroad.
For those interested in our schedule, they can go to upsteam.com, where we have a tracking map with a GPS tracker. And we also list the safe places where we want people to see the Big Boy, 25 feet back.
The next stop for the Big Boy is in St. Louis, and visitors of Lincoln Land Community College got a first-hand look at how honey is harvested from beehives. The demonstration was part of a partnership with Prairie State and Lincoln Land Beekeepers Association. The honey supers were first removed from hives off campus. The honey from the supers was then extracted on campus grounds. And Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump are set to go head-to-head tonight in their first presidential debate. Harris is expected to illustrate a decisive case against Trump, while Trump will go after Harris to describe her as a far-removed liberal. Abortion, climate, Social Security, and immigration are among the issues each candidate will discuss tonight. And both Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris are promising to protect Social Security, but neither have put up a plan for how to save the program. Right now, the trust fund is projected to go dry by 2033, which would then trigger a 21% benefit cut. The Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget estimates that would result in a $16,000 plus cut for typical dual-income retirees.
Again, I think on issues like expanding Medicare, by expanding Social Security and lifting the cap on taxable income that the rich put in so we can raise Social Security benefits, I think if you campaign on those issues, raising taxes on billionaires, you know what, she's going to win, and I think she could win big.
Trump has hinted at ways to pull in more money without hiking taxes, such as paying down high debts with revenue from broad-based tariffs. And tonight there will be a community watch event for the debate at the Boys and Girls Club on South 15th Street in Springfield. There will also be a place on site where you can register to vote. Everyone is invited to attend. The doors open at 7 p.m.
Emotional testimony on Capitol Hill today during a hearing on the southern border. I'm Kayla Gaskins with that story straight ahead.
Plus, another school shooting occurred today in Omaha. The details on the suspect and the injured after the break. Back now making headlines, a 15-year-old student is in critical condition after he was shot at a high school in Omaha, Nebraska this afternoon. Police say it was an isolated incident and the suspect, also believed to be a student, is in custody. It comes days after police say a 14-year-old student killed 4 people and injured several others at a high school in Georgia. And students in Barrow County, Georgia are headed back to class today following last week's deadly shooting. At least 13,000 students are expected to return to their respective schools following the deaths of 2 students and 2 teachers at Allahatchie High School. Barrow County Schools Superintendent said officials understand the days ahead will be difficult for both students and staff, including those who might not want to return. Now in national headlines, since Kamala Harris replaced Joe Biden as the Democratic nominee for president, Republicans have sought to portray her as a weak on immigration and blame her in part for the current migration crisis at the southern border. National correspondent Kayla Gaskins joins us from Capitol Hill, where Republicans held a hearing today digging into the Biden-Harris administration's border policies.
Heart-wrenching testimony on Capitol Hill Tuesday.
They found her badly beaten. She was strangled.
Parents whose children were allegedly murdered by illegal migrants sharing experiences with the House Judiciary Committee.
Telling her I'm sorry in Spanish while strangling her with her phone charging cord.
The hearing set up by Republican lawmakers to examine the impacts of the Biden-Harris administration's immigration and border policies.
Day one, they decided no more building the wall. No more remain in Mexico while we evaluate your asylum claim. And once you get here, you will not be detained. You will be released into the country.
Republicans arguing these policies are to blame for the crimes allegedly committed by illegal migrants, like the murder of 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungare in Texas.
They are nothing but monsters.
And countless overdose deaths from fentanyl smuggled into the U.S. via the southern border. Democrats argue they've pushed for bipartisan legislation to address the border crisis, which Republicans thwarted. Democrats calling Tuesday's hearing a political stunt.
Unfortunately, instead of working in a bipartisan fashion to find meaningful solutions to our broken immigration system, we are sitting in yet one more partisan hearing designed to divide us and to score political points before an election.
Victim Rachel Morin's mother, though, couldn't care less about political games.
I realize some of you are disinterested in this because you just think it's a partisan thing. But these are American people. These are American families.
There's been a noticeable drop in border crossings. Greg Abbott says those border and instead gives credit to Texas's own policies. In Washington, I'm Kayla Gaskins.
Thank you, Kayla. The border expected to be a big topic in the debate. We will have coverage on Fox Illinois News at 9 and our sister station News Channel 20 at 10.
Now, your Storm Team weather with meteorologist Darren Leeds.
Well, our weather continues to be very dry here across central Illinois and much of the Midwest. That is thanks to high pressure that has been very dominant feature here as of late. It's starting to push off towards the east, but it's still keeping that warm air funneling here into the area. Our temperatures warming up even more tomorrow. We're going to be close to 90 degrees, but I think we're going to fall a little bit short of it. It will be our warmest day in the extended forecast. Then we're in for some changes come the end of the work week. And still, we continue to track Tropical Storm Francine, set to make landfall in the Gulf Coast by Wednesday around Louisiana and far eastern Texas. It's still looking like it's going to work its way here into the Midwest and kind of just sitting around southern Illinois come late this week. By Friday, it's circulating that moisture here into our neck of the woods, and it does look like this kind of kickstarts a little bit of a wet and unsettled pattern going through the weekend, even into early parts of next week. That'll also help to draw some cooler air back into the region. Temperatures on Friday looking pretty good. It's just going to be kind of wet out there. Overnight, our temperatures a little bit warmer, but we're still pretty mild for this point in September. Mid to low 50s is what we're going to see. Winds nice and light coming in out of the southeast. And as we look forward on our future cast, we're still soaking up a lot of sunshine. Really nothing to focus on until we're getting into that Friday forecast. But Thursday, we started to see the clouds coming in from the south, kind of the precursor to that post-tropical cyclone working its way in from our south. Taking a look at tomorrow afternoon, and yes, our temperature is pushing above average. We're getting close to that 90-degree mark. I've got 88 here in the capital city, along with Carlinville, Litchfield, 87 for Lincoln, Taylorville, and Decatur. Very similar temperatures to our east, 86 around Sullivan, Tuscola, and still warm numbers down along I-70, 89 in Vandalia, 88 for Effingham, 87 around Mattoon. As we look forward into our Friday morning forecast, those showers start to progress in from the south. Does kind of look like we're going to see our heaviest rainfall accumulation south of Interstate 72, but those of us along it still looking like we're going to get a pretty good dose of some rain. Saturday, maybe some minor showers, but just looking at mostly cloudy skies. Sunday and into early next week, things still showing that we are going to see more of that rain continue to kind of circulate throughout the region. Continue to monitor this and keep you updated as we get a little bit closer. Temperature-wise, with the moisture coming in for early next week, we're not really going to be jumping all that quickly. We're going to hover right above that 80-degree mark. Couple 70-degree days in there for Friday and Saturday.
It is Tuesday, which means it is Tail Waggin' Tuesday. This first one is from Andrea. Look at these cuddle bugs. This is her babies, Binks and Juniper, napping together. So cute. Thank you, Andrea, for sharing that. And this next one comes from Angie. Oh my goodness, look at this smile. This is your beautiful white dog. Not sure the name, but gorgeous. Looking like he's like begging for something, like you have a treat behind your camera or something. I love it. Thank you, Angie. And finally, this one is from Guy. This cutie named Shando, probably also begging for attention. Look at his eyes there. Thank you so much all for sharing those. And we want to see your photos. Just send them to us using your Fox Illinois app and then click chime in. You can do the same on foxillinois.com.
Artificial intelligence is now coming to hearing technology. I'm Liz Bonus. We're going to share with you something that you'll really want to hear. It is just ahead. Artificial intelligence is now coming to...
But first, as we head to break, here's a look at today's closing market numbers. We'll be right back. Health alert, artificial intelligence is now helping people hear better in a whole new way. Medical reporter Liz Bonus explains how it's all about listening.
Hey there, everybody. For the first time in hearing technology, a dedicated AI chip that looks like this provides speech clarity that sounds like this.
These figures look really encouraging. Yeah, I agree. Let's set up a meeting. These figures look really encouraging. Yeah, I agree. Let's set up a meeting.
Hear the difference on this construction site? As this video provided by Phonak shows, this deep sonic chip provides what audiologist Dr. Stephanie Grace refers to as spheric speech clarity. It's a second chip added to these tiny hearing assistance devices to separate speech from noise.
So what this means for the patient is when they walk into a noisy environment, that first chip that's doing all the work says, hey, secondary chip, I need you to do your job now and help denoise the situation.
If you do work in a noisy environment, then the AI will help your hearing device make the switch. And this is likely to be really necessary these days, according to Dr. Matthew Kist of Kentucky's Lung Hearing Care, as more young people are diagnosed with hearing loss and need devices to boost hearing.
Yeah, the trend nowadays, it's becoming younger and younger, 40s into their 30s. I've even had some people I would consider colleagues my age starting to address their hearing, making sure they're getting custom hearing protection, making sure they're taking care of their hearing as long as they can.
To properly use AI adjusting hearing aids, you need them customized to your own ears. And in most cases, they're not covered by your medical insurance plan. But it is one example, Dr. Gray says, where you can clearly hear the swap.
Good idea. I'll send you the details.
When AI is used for listening.
Good idea. I'll send you the details.
And the end result has been phenomenal as far as helping these patients hear in those challenging listening environments.
An audiologist can help test your hearing to see if this kind of AI technology might be right for you. With your health news, I'm Liz Bonus reporting.
Thank you, Liz. Now making headlines, a new report found the U.S. is facing an ongoing maternity health crisis. The report found 1 out of 3 counties does not have a single obstetric clinician, affecting women's access to care. And in many parts of the country, prenatal and delivery doctors are leaving the workforce. Some hospitals are also closing their labor and delivery units due to staff shortages and fewer births. And now you're taking a live look at our tower camera. We'll be checking back in with meteorologist Darren Leeds after the break.
Forecast, we're coming close to that 90-degree mark, another little taste of summer weather. Will cool things down as cloud cover makes its way back in for Thursday, and then it looks like to end the work week, we get the remnants from Tropical Storm Francine pushing their way in, kickstarting a little unsettled pattern that continues through the weekend and into early next week.
Thank you, Darren. That does it for us at 5:30, but more news at 9 o'clock. We'll see you then.